All right, guys. Today, I'm going to go through what I'm titling video number 1A, which is solving multi-step equations. The goal in solving multi-step equations is to isolate the variable. Or another way of saying that is to get the variable on one side of the equal sign and a number or numeric value on the opposite side. So a couple things to remember here. Order matters, and think of order of operations backwards. And lastly, what you do to one side of the equal sign, you must do to the other side as well. All right, we're going to start as simple as possible. So our first problem here is simply x plus 4 equals 10. So I just need to ask myself, which side of the equation is the x on? Well, it's on the left side. What else is there? Plus 4. How do I move that plus 4 to the opposite side? I'm going to do the opposite. So I'm going to subtract 4. And again, what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. If you need to do this, do that. Draw the bar through the equal sign so you have two sides. That's going to be every single time. So then you're simply left with, you only have an x here because plus 4 minus 4 equals 0. And here 10 minus 4 is 6. And you're done. That's your final answer. All right. Example 2 says 3x equals 27. So again, if you want to draw that bar, draw that bar. Again, ask yourself, which side of the equation is the x on? It's on the left. What else is attached to it? Well, I have a 3 directly attached to it. How do I get rid of that 3? I need to divide both sides by 3 since it's currently being multiplied. And I am left with x equals 9 because 27 divided by 3 equals 9. Okay. Draw that bar if you need to. So same deal. What side of the equation is my variable on? Left side. What else is sitting on that side? The minus 13. How do I move a minus 13 to the opposite side? I need to add 13. And again, notice I'm adding 13 to both sides of the equal sign. When I do so, my x is all by itself, and 5 plus 13 equals 18. All right. Now, this one usually feels kind of tricky for students, okay? Because right now, again, you ask yourself, which side is the variable on the left? What else is sitting there? Well, currently, if you read this, this says right here, x divided by 5 is equal to 6. So I'm looking for what divided by 5 equals 6. How I do that by showing my work is I'm going to multiply both sides by that denominator. So I'm multiplying both sides by 5. When I do that, these cancel out. Those 5s cancel out because I technically had a 5 over 1. And I would be left with x is equal to 30. All right, so again, draw that line if you need that line there. Of course, if you don't, that's fine. You're asking yourself, which side of the equal sign is the variable? It's on the left. What else is on the left? Well, we have a 4, and we also have a 2 attached to it. So here's where that order matters. An opposite of order of operations. So you think of what we do last in order of operations is add or subtract. So we've got to move that 4 to the opposite side first. That's our first step because that's not directly attached to the x. So then currently I'm going to have 2x is equal to 16. Now, just like the problems before, we need to divide off that 2 from both sides, and I would be left with x equals 8. But it took more than one step to get to the answer. And yes, this is the example of what you should have on your paper and the steps that you should have. All right, here's that one that we don't like because it has a fraction in it or a division problem. No big deal. Division and fractions are exactly the same thing. So right now what's going on with this problem is saying x plus 4 divided by 3 is equal to 5. So the first thing first, I've got to get rid of that 3. That 3 is in my way. So I'm going to multiply both sides by a 3 or a 3 over 1. So I can get rid of that 3. Because when I do so, these 3's cancel because I have one on top and one on bottom, so they go away. So then I have now x plus 4 is equal to 15. Well, now we're like the first simplest example we had. We simply just need to now subtract 4 from both sides, and I'm left with x equals 11. So again, notice the amount of work that I showed on here as I talked you through the problem is what I should see on your paper when you're doing problems like these. And again, it just came down to a 2-step, but it's knowing which order to do them in. All right, so I decided to show you one last bigger problem, okay, where order really, really matters. So this one, again, has multi-steps here. It's not just taking you one step to get there. So again, ask yourself the first question, which side of the equation is the variable on? Well, the variable is right here, and it's only right here. Well, I can't deal with this until I get this out of the way. This is in my way, and I don't like that. Because again, think of the opposite of order of operations. You got to do these steps. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides. When I do that, I have my x plus 2 divided by 4 is equal to 2. Okay? Now I have this problem that says x plus 2 divided by 4. I need to move this 4 out before I can deal with this plus 2 because he's attached to all of that. So when I do so, I'm going to multiply by 4 over 1, or times 4, because 4 over 1 is the same thing as 4. Now again, the reason why I'm doing this is because that 4 and that 4 cancel out. They're gone, because anytime you have the same thing on top and on bottom, it cancels out. And I am left with x plus 2 is equal to 8. Well, now again, I've brought it back to that simplest starter problem. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides, and I'm left with x equals 6 for my final answer. All right, good job. Hopefully you put all this on your notes paper, and I'll see you in class.